This episode of the Survivor 50 Files is brought to you by our friends over at Manta Sleep. Summertime is officially here. The days are longer, the sun is brighter, and while all of that extra daylight can feel energizing, it can quickly sabotage your sleep. Later sunsets disrupt your body's circadian rhythm, making it harder to fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling refreshed. That's where Manta Sleep comes in. Whether you're blocking out daylight or tuning out the sounds of summer nights, taking control of your sleep environment helps you get deep, restorative rest no matter how long the sun stays up. I love this sleep mask. When we looked for a sponsor for this podcast, they were the first company that I jumped to. I bought one of these during COVID. I was sleeping very poorly. I had a lot of anxiety. This doubled the quality of my sleep. I am loyal to it, and I've been influencing for this way longer than this podcast. Visit the Manta Sleep website and use our discount code 50files. That's 50 FILES for 10% off your order. Discount code is 50files, 50 FILES. Let's get to the show. What is going on, everybody? We are here back again for the final time. This is the last episode of the Survivor 50 Files. We're doing it in two parts. We got two great guests. First, starting off with, you know him, you love him. It's Mitch. Mitch from season 48. Mitch, how are you?
What's up, Brandon? Thanks for having me on.
Oh my God, isn't this so much fun? We talked about it. Now we're here. We're doing it.
This is insane.
We're
Let's
doing it.
go.
We're ready. Tell me, Mitch, it's been a few weeks. Survivor 46 ended just a few weeks ago. Tell me about the after. What the past couple weeks have been like. You just said before we started recording that you're jumping into school in the next couple weeks, but tell me about, is this the most exciting summer break that you've had?
Yeah, so season 48 just ended, and we got the privilege of going out to LA to watch the season finale together as a cast and got to bring out some of my good friends and family. And since then, I've done a bunch of traveling to see friends and just trying to make the most of this crazy summer break before I have to go back to school since I didn't win $1 million.
Hey, listen, even the people that win $1 million, they're going back to the island. Apparently, your good friend
Oh,
Kyle.
yeah, for real.
We've got Kamilla also and Joe. So just to knock into it, it's day one of Survivor 48. You're starting the game. You're on the starting tribe. You're on Siva. You've got Kyle and Kamilla there. Tell me about the first impressions of Kyle and Kamilla as soon as you enter the game.
Yeah, as soon as we entered the game, I really was excited about working with Kyle. He just comes across as like super easygoing. Obviously, he's huge, so he looked really athletic. I was like really excited to get to know him. Camilla, on the other hand, she started off the game like really quiet and reserved and like super calm. It So I had some apprehension about working with her. You could tell she was incredibly smart. But yeah, that was my first impression of the two of them.
When did you feel with Camilla that she started to kind of come into her own in terms of her personality and warm up to the group? If she did start off in a little bit, which I don't think we saw much of on the show, but there are many cases where that's the situation. When do you feel like she kind of grew into the Camilla that we got to see for 13 episodes?
Yeah, honestly, like she started off really, really slow. She became a little more outspoken like the second day we were there. But honestly, like getting to see her transform into the person she ended on day 20 on day 25 was incredible. Like it's just like so cool to get to see her just become so much more confident in who she was and like what she has to bring to the table. Like I think whenever she won both of her immunity challenges, I cried. Like I was just like so proud of her and like even like as I was obviously upset that I like wasn't able to get a single immunity challenge. Man, like just getting to see her become like who she became was so special out there.
Do you think there's any benefit to like a Camilla? You know, she's competing with Emily on season 50 and competing with an Aubrey, like somebody who does have this like personal transformation in the game. That wasn't so much the case in the earlier seasons when people would come back to All Stars, but the new era is like a lot of which is personal, journeys. How do you think that impacts going into a second season of Survivor?
Yeah, I think she is able to um I think she's going to be able to build some super cool relationships with people because everyone got to see her journey. And I think when you have a story like that, like you're able to really resonate with a lot more people. So I feel like with the people who are on season 50, like she has a very unique story, but a couple of the people out there have a pretty similar story to hers. So I'm hoping some of them can get together and go for a deep run.
Is there anybody from the season 50 cast that just getting to know Camilla, during the game, outside of the game, just hanging out over the past year? Is there anybody personality wise that you think that she's going to click with immediately that maybe she hasn't met before?
Yeah, I think she is gonna get a like she's going to get along really well with a bunch of the girls out there. I look at like an Aubrey and an Emily and Angelina, like just a bunch of those girls who play a really strategic game and have had their own journey. I also know that she is a really big she's a big personal a personal a big a big fan of Q and Coach. So I know she's like really interested in working with both of those two. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's
she
exciting.
had like she's so funny in like the confessional. She had like this bite in the confessionals that I don't think when she got announced for Survivor or in the first couple episodes you could have seen that. So I'm very interested to see her be with these personalities who will cause her to want to speak about people in such a way. I think that's very fun.
Yeah, I think she is going to have a lot to say for sure.
I am curious from you because you and I have something in common. Whereas, like, I'll get notifications now of posts that were made during Survivor 45, like big our group posts, and people will respond to your comment on that Instagram post that you made 2 years ago, like before you were ever on the show. That I think is like so cool, And we have talked, obviously, outside of this, of how excited you were to get on Survivor. Tell me, like, your Siva tribe, your first starting six, was that like the Survivor tribe you pictured when you would, for years and years, thinking about being on the island? Did you get the people that you like always wondered would be there with you?
Yeah, honestly, the moment that I realized who was on my starting tribe, I immediately knew that we were never going to get beat. When I am the weakest guy on any team, like that just goes to show you how strong it is. The first few episodes, like all of the producers sh- were shocked at how competitive I was. So I was like really excited to be on a starting tribe with Kyle and David. And then like you look at Cam- Camilla and and Charity, who are really good at puzzles, and then like and Chrissy is a w- workhorse. Like, she will do anything you ask her to do. So I was like really excited about that starting tribe, and yeah, it was incredible.
Some of us, Mitch, don't get that lucky with our starting tribes. I don't know
So
if you've heard, but some of us
so sorry about that.
some of us are looking for the workhorse. Can't be any of us. Tell me about Joe. You know, Joe is also on season 50. Joe, who you've spent many days with in Survivor 46. Tell me about the Siva reaction to Joe in those first couple of days of the game before you had met him. Like, what was the talk in the camp like about Joe?
Oh my gosh. Well, whenever you're just looking at them, yeah, he's like one, like absolutely huge, but there's something about him that is just like draws you into him. So as a competitor standpoint, I really didn't want him to be there much longer just because of how much of a threat he was. Like, you could just see that everyone on his starting tribe like loved him and respected him a ton. And from the perspective of someone who's playing against him, it's like, well, crap. Like, he seems really social. He seems like he is holding that whole tribe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is such a we've talked about it in a couple episodes of this podcast where he's so old era survivor, which you obviously like that's what you grew up with, that's what I
Yeah.
grew up with. You know, he's now competing with the older era folks who he just fits in with in a way that like I don't think I mean you have your Jonathans also, you know, you have D I think is close to that, but he is so old era coded, which I think is like such an asset in this situation.
Yeah, I think he is going to do incredible just because he has the opportunity to work with the new era players, but he and who he is in general is definitely an old school type player.
So you are on the jury of Survivor 48. You ultimately, you know, you pick Kyle to win. Kyle, you get Kyle's vote. Or rather, Kyle gets your vote. Tell me about what Joe didn't do that you gave Kyle your vote as opposed to Joe. Like, what can Joe work on as a losing finalist going into this situation to get that vote next time?
Yeah, I think what Joe didn't really understand is how everyone viewed him. He is a very genuine and and kind person whenever you have like normal conversations with him. But when you're playing a competitive game, like he played college football for UCLA, like he comes across being very physical. And for the people on the jury that didn't get to know him on an extremely personal level, there were just a couple of people didn't view him as someone that he had a good relationship with. So I feel like sometimes he doesn't understand how he comes across to everyone. And I feel like after he watched season 48, I think he hopefully can see how he came ac- ac- a cr- a cr- a cross to everyone out there.
Now, in a situation where, you know, Kyle and Kamilla are competing in the Fire for File Making Challenge, if Kyle would leave there and then Kamilla gets to the end, is Kamilla getting your vote in that scenario?
Absolutely. Yes. Come just because of like how much she had to overcome to be sitting there. Yeah, like what was hard is like I think that Kyle and Camilla just played a more strategic game. I thought the game that Joe and Eva played was a really solid game. They always had plenty of people around them to keep them safe, but they really never had to do anything hard to actually get to the end. Like they were always just in a really comfortable like sp- 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 spot.
Absolutely. And I think that, the streets are saying, I've done this podcast now many episodes, that there is the downside of Kyle and Camilla competing on season 50 is high. I mean, you have everybody looking at them. It's a public duo. They flew out a week after the finale. But
Yeah.
what are the upsides, do you think, of them two going in together? Because like the downsides have been spoken enough by everybody. But
Yeah.
I want to hear what like the positive is going into this situation with your number one ally from your last season.
Yeah. Obviously, like there are so many things that could hurt them, but when you're playing a game with a lot of really big competitors that are going out on season 50 and having someone who you worked with and everyone else is under the impression that you guys are probably going to continue to work together. Like this is a game about numbers, and if you have two numbers that are going to be truthful to each other, then you can assume that they can also be trustworthy for you too. So I feel like in a season like 50, where everyone is going to play extremely cutthroat and ruthless, like getting to work with two people who have already worked together and you bringing them into a group as well could be extremely helpful for um, for for other people out there.
I said the same thing about D. I think the older folks who haven't been as tapped in on Survivor maybe watch D season all in a day and see her with this huge alliance that then gets to the end and they latch on to that. But I can
Exactly.
also see like a Colby or a Stephanie seeing Kyle and Camilla and be like, "Oh, I know you can do a duo. Like, let's just be the duo this time. Let's why don't
Yes.
we just do that? Let's run it back with a different person." I mean, I think that's a huge benefit.
Yeah. Well, it, and like especially for people who haven't played in a really long time, just having seen someone do it and do a good job of playing with a core group of people and choosing to stay loyal to them is very uh 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 appealing, and I feel like some of the other players who played recently, mm, a lot of them were incredibly strategic and were willing to make like some big moves that I think mm, might not be as appealing to work w- w- with.
I have had the fortune of spending time with you and with Kyle over the last however long. I'm getting to hang out in person. I see like the such a tight bond that you guys have that like I've been around in this world and you guys have like a very special friendship that is visible to me as just a bystander. So seeing Kyle, the winner of your season, the person who, when they're discussing Survivor 48, the one that Kyle won, tell me about Kyle's journey to now competing on season 50 as one of only two winners. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, whenever I heard that he was going back out there. Like, to be really honest, Brandon, like, I got like super emotional. Like, I love Kyle so much. Like, it's wild. So yeah, like I was like really excited that he was gonna get this opportunity again, and I truly believe that he is one of the best players to ever win, just because of his ability to make genuine connections with people, and he just knows and understands the game. So when I heard he was going back, like I was obviously like incredibly excited, but also it's like, well, crap, like it's just him and 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 B. So it's like, well, shoot, like, do I really think he's gonna do great? But yes, like I truly do. Like I think he has this crazy ability to build relationships with anyone. So I'm excited to see how he does.
Yeah, he is, famously in all of the promotional material for Survivor 48 leading up to, he has this line of like, I'm the best average guy you'll ever meet. And he like executes on that at every level. But the fear, Mitch, is that now everybody knows that he like, and I feel like D in a way, like never said it, but D's great at everything. D is not
Yeah,
the best average person you'll ever meet. Like D is above average, but so is Kyle. They come in
yeah,
with a very similar like rap sheet of what they're great at. So how does Kyle like dumb that down? It's a hard thing to go in and dumb down something that like
yeah,
everybody just saw you do.
yeah. I don't. I have a feeling that he is just going to continue to do what he was doing. Like, there's just something about someone that, like, when you're playing Survivor, that just makes you feel comfortable. And whenever you have people in the game like that, you just naturally, like, open up to them. So I feel like he's going to be able to continue to do that. But also, it's like, hey, like you're playing a game where everyone out there is a huge competitor. Everyone has multiple reasons for you to want to vote them out. So I think when you keep, what I feel like he is gonna do is he's just gonna be like, hey, like you can get rid of me later on whenever you want. Like it's such an easy thing for you to openly talk about. And I feel like at the beginning stages of this game, like you need people who are going to help you win immunity challenges, and it's helpful to just have somebody on your tribe that is an easy consist to go home.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, looking at the spread, like there's so many, exactly what you just said, huge threats that like aren't going to go home
Yeah,
early. Like you have somebody like, a Jonathan or a Joe or one of these huge guys that like we're in this tribal phase of the game. Maybe it makes sense to just get somebody out who is going to be kept here specifically for the challenges, which maybe Kyle falls in that also. But
yeah,
I think there's a lot of play when Kyle is just kind of acting as a huge vote. He's a guy that can be used at any time.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I want to hear from you about Kyle's relationship with Kamilla in terms of, I know that Kamilla has the people that she would have an eye on in Survivor 50, but tell me about Kyle. Do you see them gravitating towards the same people? Or do you think that Kyle on season 50 would gravitate to a different group that maybe Kamilla would be less keen on aligning with?
Yeah, I think that like both of them naturally gravitate to completely different types of people. Like I think Kyle is going to like want to work with more um with just a different set of people, then I think Kamilla is, just because honestly, it's in like 50, like you kind of have to surround yourself with like kind of similar people, because I think if you don't, then people are going to start coming after you. But I could see Kyle definitely working with some of the 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 old school players. Um, I think he's gonna want to play with people who are trying to play the game a little bit slower, hopefully, so that way he can be the one making the actual these decisions on who's going home. I feel like Kamilla is going to want to play the game with people who are going to play it as aggressive as possible. So
I want to hear from you just because, you and I both super fans of Survivor. We weren't on season 50.
yeah.
Unfortunately to all the listeners, we're here. But tell me who you, as a super fan of the show, are excited to see. Minus your three friends that are there. Who else makes you excited for the season?
Yeah, honestly, I'm excited to watch my guy Ozzy play again. I felt like the last time he played, he wasn't emotionally checked in, but I feel like he's coming back ready to play. I feel like that is going to be similar with Colby as well. Gotta give a shout out to my boy from Texas, you know. But I'm also really excited to see um, Angelina and Chrissy. I feel like both of them played really good games the first time they went out there. And I think just having that experience is going to really help them. I definitely am pulling for Tiffany and Charlie and and D. So I have some of them who I'm really hoping go really deep.
So we only have a few minutes left, but I want you to tell everybody who's listening any engagements that you've had or coming up. You have done such great work that I've actually been fortunate enough to be a part of in New York City, having you come here and speak at conventions. So, just for people who don't know who are listening to this, tell everybody a little bit about what you've been doing.
Yeah, so in case you haven't noticed by now, I stutter. So I have had some super cool opportunities to just go and speak at some different organizations that help um, different people who also speak like me. So I've gotten to share my experiences as a person who stutters and as a person who got the privilege to go and play Survivor, which is really exciting. I just got back from speaking at the National Stuttering Association, where I got to be the keynote speaker, and they ended up giving me a an an award there, which was incredibly kind of them. And then in a few weeks, Eva and I are going to get to speak at a conference and just talk about like how it is important and helpful to have to hire people with 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 disabilities. So yeah, it's been crazy to have this very unique platform.
Tell everybody just before we jump off where they can follow you to get all the updates about what you're doing and where they can come see you when you're speaking.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at m where ski, and I'm also on Twitter and TikTok. But yeah, just if you have someone who you know who's is also a person who stutters and ever have any questions about that, like please reach out to me. I would be happy to share anything I can to help out.
Well, we are so glad, Mitch, that you got to join us. Don't go anywhere if you're listening. We'll be here with Star talking Joe, Kyle, Kamilla, and the rest of season 50. We'll be right back, everybody. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks for having me.
We're back. We've got Star. Star, how
We got
are you?
Star. We got Star. We got Brandon, and I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
Star, let me tell you, I've been on these Twitter streets,
Yeah.
these X streets for a long time. And seldom have I seen everybody like kind of get behind somebody the way that everybody got behind you. It is, I think back to like Saul from season 47 had a similar thing. But like some people, Star, the internet just they love. And you're one of those people.
Well, I love my crew. I love my people from Star Updates to everybody that just comes behind me and just shows love and support, because that's all it's about. We all love the game of Survivor. We all love coming together and talking, all that mess, but we all got to remember it's all about the game and the love of the game. You love the game, I love the game, and we got that one person that really says everything about the game. Of course, we can't be the best at everything. We can't be the greatest at everything, but we can all come together and come kind of like relate. That's that heart. Everybody that loves me got heart, and that's why I love them.
And that's me too, Star. Let me tell you. And so I'm so thrilled you're here. Tell me a little bit about, just because you guys ended only a few weeks ago now. It's but we're a little bit under 2 months out. Tell me what the last couple weeks have been like for you post Survivor.
Well, I will say post Survivor, after like really the funny thing about it, and I joke about it all the time, is I'm one of those people where I blend in with the group. So you really wouldn't know unless I'm like, hey, look at me. So I'm walking around, I'm in Miami taking a little break, and everyone's like, I just finished watching this episode. What are you doing here? What's going on? I'm like, the episode had to end. I had to get voted off, and everybody just had to like see how it is to finally get noticed. But it's okay, because the whole point of it is it makes me feel good knowing that like people really love our season. Some folks will call our season like the camp season. Some people will call it the kumbaya season. I'll say it's the season that pretty much brings it all together. Everybody coming from Jeff says different walks of life.
He does say that. It's so funny. You just made me think of this. You don't realize how many people are watching Survivor on like a delay. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
You get people coming up to you, which I had a similar thing of where like they're like, "Oh, I just saw episode 1. Like I hope you fix it." And it's like episode 9 in the real time. I'm like, "Oh, just you got another hour." You have like But that's so funny that you're seeing people who don't know yet that it's already. The journey's over, but they don't know that yet. And you got to keep up the charade.
Yes, and you have to, because I'm a person, I never tell the story. I could watch a movie show 10 billion times, and if we're watching it all together, I'm watching it like it's my first time. But even then, too, it's so much that happens that it's so hard to explain. You don't want to say too much, but you just want to get into where they at. And you don't realize grandmothers watch Survivor. Basketball players watch Survivor, kids watch Survivor, your mom watches Survivor, your uncle watches Survivor, your teacher watches Survivor, the mailman watches Survivor, the deli guy watches Survivor, the liquor store person watches Survivor. So it's so many people that watch Survivor about you that you don't know until you talk to them. And then you realize they have this favorite person, and now you're arguing over who should have won Fire and that's why I love Survivor, man.
It's the best. It's the best show ever. I'm so glad that I get to be doing this and I get to be talking to you.
Yes, especially let's talk about it.
Season 50.
Let's talk about it. You got a couple
people on season 50. Everybody's there.
Okay, so first of all, this is the funny thing about it. We've all been together. Once again, the season just ended. So that's how you know how low-key. We were just keying. We were all hi-hi-hi at the season finale watch party, shaking hands, kumbaya, and knocking fists. Then 2, 3, 4 weeks later, I'm scrolling on Twitter X. And I'm looking at the potential, and then CBS pops out what it is, and I'm like, whoa. I go to Boo. I said, Boo, I see Kyle, Kamilla, and Joe. I said we was just with these jokers. We was just with these jokers. It was crazy. It was crazy. So I was like, wow, like mind blown. And then on top of that, Tiffany, Q, like it's some good folks. But then, you see the other folks that you thought would have made it and it didn't make it. And that's all right because at the end of the day, 50 is about all the legendaries and just celebrating Survivor, period. So I just want everybody to know, still celebrate yourself. Whether you were on there or not, it's all about the love at the end of the day. I know it hurts. I know you see it, but we still got to kumbaya to our people there. And I salute it, man. Hey, to go back again, a double farm, the only people who actually did that was like Russell Hantz, back to back. There's a couple of folks that have, but like back to back, that's something, and I salute them for it. So I'm already gonna say, I know my girl Kamilla ate. I know she ate. Okay, Brandon, I'm sorry. Okay, let's stop.
I'm so
I know my girl ate because I already was rooting for Kamilla from day one when I got out. But we're not going to talk about it right now. Well, yes, we are. We are. We're going to talk about it. I already knew it when I was watching. Once you get voted off, you watching in real time. I'm watching as a fan, and I'm also watching as a player.
Yeah.
When I saw Kamilla with that immunity necklace on, a couple, tribals after, I was like, yeah, that's my girl. And, we all know how everything ended. So to come back again and do it, I can't wait to see. The dynamics change. There's no season that is the same. So you got different people. We got OGs. Okay? We got OGs, okay? The game is different. They've been watching. They've been mad. They've been heated. Some of them been like, man, we got to show them. Man, they ready to... Oh, my God. Do y'all realize how, like... I don't even know the words. The only thing I can say is like super casual, espialidocious. This is about to be like, do y'all realize how crazy this is about to be? Oh my God, Survivor 50. I don't know about y'all, but also too, let's not forget 49, okay? Because I don't want 49 to think we don't care about them. We love you, 49.
We love you.
You getting us prepped for 50, okay? So don't forget it, because there's a couple of 49s out there too. We can't wait to see it. But 50 about to go.
It's gonna be big. It's
brain emoji, brain emoji, brain emoji.
49 is like, it's gonna be great. It's like it's not even, I don't even want to call it the appetizer, but it's like you go to dinner, but then after dinner you're going to the buffet.
For sure.
And I don't know why you do those things.
You're my favorite type of guy, because I know one meal and another. Especially coming from the island, baby, I like to eat.
We're hungry. We're ready.
You're hungry.
Tell me about, you don't start the game with Kyle and Kamilla. You meet them later.
Not at all.
But your perception of Kyle and Kamilla when you start, is that the same when you met them, or was your perception of them off of like how you anticipated them to be?
Honestly, I will say it was definitely off. One thing I like to say all the time, and you'll hear it throughout the season, Camilla's one of those people that she's like an undercover spy. She'll say, "Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm just and then she'll kill it. She'll say, "Oh no, I'm just they're gonna get me off. They're gonna vote me off. They're gonna vote me off," and she's actually leading the votes. I said, I knew Camilla's game during the time when it was me, Shaheem, Mitch, and Kamilla at that journey when we all lost and we had to go to the journey and we were playing the red ball with the gray ball. I peeped her games in. And I already knew this is somebody you got to keep your eye out for. And then even Kyle. Now the thing with Kyle is, me and Kyle competed when we went head to head. And he's an athlete. Kyle's an athlete. He's a thinker. And he's a social guy. That's the thing about his game. And we don't even got to go into it. And me and Joe knows how to get you in the heart. That's what I'm saying. We got some good finessers that's going into 50. Good finessers that know how to talk a good game and know how to get you where you want to get you and how to talk and get you where it hurts, Joe's going to make you cry. Camilla's going to make you feel bad and make you feel like, I want to protect her, I want to watch over her, and then Kyle's going to make you want to talk strategy because you think he know what's going on. I promise you, it was a couple times in the jungle, Kyle will pull me to the side and he'll give me them eyes like, Star, this is what it's going to be, all right? This is what it is. And I'm like, I want to believe you, Kyle, but now that I know he's a lawyer, it all makes sense.
They teach him how to do that. That's what they're going to school for.
Yeah.
So you didn't vote for Kyle to win. You voted
Not
for
at
Eva.
all.
So tell me about the decision to vote for Kyle, and even like give me the lens of like, what could Kyle have done to get your vote that he can do when he's on season 50? Like what's the lesson he can take from not getting your vote?
This is perfect right here. So the thing with Kyle, and this is the most like, I feel like majority of Survivor players, you're gonna end up playing multiple fields. You're gonna play both sides. You're going to have to talk to this group and talk to other groups and make people believe you and trust you. That's the name of the game. That's the whole point of Survivor, building those connections and then backstabbing them at the end of the day. So I feel like with me and Kyle, the thing that we could have connected with is just being honest. We know our season was honesty and loyalty. So with that being said, I'm a person that I can read. I've been watching. I've been peeping. I can read the crew. So if you're gonna see somebody, don't BS. Don't brown nose me. Just come to me 100 because I've been watching you. So when I come to you and I say, hey, I feel a bit down. I feel sad. I'm A, B, C, and like, Star, I got you. I'm on your side. I'm with you. At least let me think you with me until the end, because now it's the end and you're counting on my vote and I can't give it to you because I knew you wasn't with me. And you didn't take me out to eat on that reward challenge. And I'm just saying, and that's the point that always matters. Is the point that always matters. You didn't take me out to eat on the reward challenge, and that's you got to take people out to eat, man. If Kyle's gonna take anything out of it, or any Survivor player or any future Survivor players, you have to feed the people. That's what they used to do back in the day. Butter me up and then throw me out.
So you,
if he would have fed me, he would have got my vote.
Sure. That's it. You know what? That's an actually very interesting point. If you're gonna vote somebody out, if you know that person's next, let him eat.
Butter me up.
Let him eat.
Let me. At least then I would have said, you know what? Somebody gave me something, and that Kyle right there, he gave me some food. And you'll be surprised. It's the little things, man. It's the little things. It's the little things. I gave you my vote because, once again, the thing with the idol, everybody can say whatever, but I was struggling really hard. They didn't show a lot, but I was struggling really hard. When anybody could have helped me, you saw a lot of people didn't.
Sure.
And she did. As much mess as she talking, as much that was behind the scenes, she helped me when I was literally struggling, and that's what made me give her my vote.
Would your vote have changed if Kyle loses that fire? And then
Kamilla would have had my vote. I already said Kamilla was going to have my vote from day one. I was reaching, like, as soon as I got voted out, as soon as we already know, Mary's right behind, all that good stuff, and everything that's unfolded. Kamilla was going to get my vote because Kamilla played the game. Undercover, building relationships, making people trust her, making people not even think anything. She's winning immunity. She's literally winning immunity twice.
Yeah.
She's killing these puzzles. She's athletic, and you wouldn't even think so because she's under the radar. She's building relationships, and she's actually double teaming, and nobody knows. I knew, but once again, my opinion didn't really matter throughout the game after a while. But I'm watching her and Kyle sneak off to the water well. I'm saying these little tidbits, but as you can see, no one's really taking it serious because they're like, Kamilla, Kyle, no. They would tell me no, they wouldn't. They're making it work. They flew under the radar in Siva. They flew under the radar in Vula. And they flew under the radar when we came into Nunai. So with that being said, they're sneaky. And those are the two that you got to watch out for because they're sneaky. Their game speaks for themselves. You wouldn't think that Kyle is a challenge beast until he's athletic. He's very athletic. He can do the puzzles. Kamilla, she's very athletic, although she says she's not. And that's how she trips you. I can never do this. I don't know how to do this. And then what happens? She comes up on top. Big K. But yeah.
So I wonder, for you, do you think Kamilla can do that again? Because we kind of all watched the playbook, right? Where she says that she can't do, and it's on the show. I mean, you lived it, but we all watched it.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I can't do this, and then she does it, right? But that's a hard undercover job to take. It's like,
it is.
21 Jump Street. You've seen 21 Jump Street. They don't,
of course.
They wouldn't go to high school, then they got to go to college. You can't go back to the same high school and do the same undercover job.
Not at all.
I wonder what that looks like for 50. What do you think?
So the problem now is, and this is, everyone's a curse to it. You're gonna watch the season before you.
Yes.
Unless you were, good enough to kind of say, no, I'm good. But that's not possible. You're going to watch the season before you. You're going to try to do a little homework and see some things. And the OG's been watching. Not even that. They've lived this. They've done this multiple times. Some people have done it more than one season. We have Coach. We have Sari. They've been here multiple times before. This is just a spring season cleaning to them at this point, If they're going down into that attic they haven't, cleaned up in a while, and they're about to get back at it, Yeah. So with that being said, it's going to be tough because now, like you said, you can't do the same thing twice. Then we're forgetting about our other players, our season 46 players, Q, Tiffany. Not even this. Let's bring it back to our season 45 players. So with that being said, can a winner win twice? Yes, it's been done before.
Yes,
But
it's
the
done before.
game still changes. Any player can play the game again, but it's not going to be the same game. I know if I play it again, if you play the game, we would not be the same players. The first time is the first time. But once again, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So with that being said, you're not going to play the same game the same. I'm curious to see. I can't speak for them. I'm not too sure of what game they're going to go in. But all I know is the competition is crazy. Sari is a thinker. Coach is a good person who knows how to, reel you in. Q's Q.
Q. How would you have played with Q? How would that have worked for you?
Man, hey, that would have been a time. I don't know. I think that probably would have been the funnest Survivor experience, like for real, because y'all already know I'm me. I'm Star. So I'm Star, Q's Q, and then we have everybody else all together, reading and watching. This is gonna be a fun season. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be having fun watching it. I'm gonna putting myself in their shoes. It's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna be everywhere that I can be, shouting out S50. Let's go.
So tell me, you had said something very interesting. It's like nobody's gonna play the same game twice.
Never.
Now you play the most time with Joe. Like you play more days with Joe than you do Kyle and Kamilla. And we haven't really talked about Joe. So what is the evolution in Joe's game? Like from somebody who played with him, what needs to happen for Joe?
Can I tell you something? I don't Joe has some, we all watched, we all sat. I'm not even gonna lie. Joe's a Gemini, and I can only say this because my wife's a Gemini. I know, not to go into the zodiacs, but I'm a zodiac person. You feel me? I know it. Okay, Joe's hungry. Okay, they don't play the same game the same. Different people, different vibes, different. What is it? Different flows for different folks, or something like that. It's like something. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I know what I'm trying to say. But the point is, it's kind of like when the big bear been sleeping hibernation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my boy he's gonna eat. We're gonna see a different Joe. We might actually see Joe from 1996 UCLA with the goddamn poo. Nah, he's gonna come out and he's gonna eat. I don't know how long, and because once again I'm girl power in this. D, Tiffany, Sari, Kamilla, I'm working. I love y'all, but my boy's gonna eat. He's gonna eat.
Are Geminis often hungry? Like, are we we have the determination?
Man, my wife's a Gemini, okay? Sure. And can I say literally every day is something new with her, which is the exciting thing about it all. But when she put her mind, you're a Gemini
I'm also
too?
Gemini. So I want to hear about me. You know what I mean?
Say less. When you put your mind to it, you're gonna do it. Yeah, it's a lot of things. You see, we saw Joe's heart in season 48. We saw him. He came for a reason. He came to heal. He came to love. He came to show a different side of him. We saw he was also still eating. He was still beasting. Every time he was doing a challenge, he said, my family, that's what I'm here for. He's putting his mind to it. He came here to do it for his family. I think 50, he's doing it for himself. And everybody knows when a Gemini puts themselves first and say, hey, I'm going to do this for me, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to take that time. I felt like during this time of Survivor playing and the season's going, he's been taking the time to mentally prepare, physically prepare, emotionally prepare, to lean on himself, lean on his spirit, lean on his, strength and his guide to lead him forward in this upcoming Survivor season 50 season. Because I feel like he's putting himself first. He's going to say, it's me, it's my family, and it's tunnel vision, those challenges, I'm going to do that. He knows how it feels to starve now. We know last season our season was a lot of muscle and hungry and this, how it feels now. You've been here before. Now you're hibernated. You went into your shell. Sometimes Gemini, you got to go into your shell. You got, it doesn't matter what other people say. If you say no, it's no.
Yeah.
So with that being said, he said, yes, this is me. This is my time. Boy, he working like, we ready for ya. So basically, he's going to come out and do something that we didn't see before. We're going to see a challenge beast.
Did you and Joe have, now you had your little one. Your little one was born when it was on Survivor. You guys didn't have a ton of parents on season 48, but Joe being one of them, Chrissy also. What was that relationship with Joe like, given that you had this huge thing about yourselves in common? Was there a lot of conversation about that?
Definitely for sure, and that's like, like I said, the producers do very well in, putting everything together and piecing it out. But, a lot of folks don't realize the other conversations that we have behind the scenes, the conversations that we have when the cameras aren't on or when, some people are just sleeping and you're just up late night talking. And we had great conversations, talking. He reminded me like, it's okay. It's your first time being a parent. I was like this before. I remember when I first held my son, I cried. You realize the dynamic that changes in a relationship when you are a parent. When you were just living your life like it's golden and it didn't really have much responsibilities for yourself. And we talked about that. We talked about sometimes, you get into your own head because we think we're doing so bad when we're not. We're actually doing so good, better than you were before. But it's so hard to cut that voice off. And I'm not too sure if a lot of people notice. Our season, a lot of people were in their head.
Yeah.
Me, Kyle, Kamilla, Joe, Eva, Shaheen. A lot of episodes you see ourselves saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm doing this. And then at the same time, you see ourselves telling ourselves, you can do this. You got this. Oh yeah, I can do this. You're watching Kamilla during the fire say, oh my gosh, no, I suck. No, actually, I don't suck. I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Because that voice in your head is always going to be your biggest enemy. And when you shut that voice off and you realize everything that you worked hard for is what you're doing right now, that's what makes it all better. So those are the conversations that we have behind the scenes. Those are the conversations that made our, everybody's like, why y'all so close, so happy, and it's like because we're actually having real life conversations that really mattered, real life conversations that were deeper than the game, deeper than $1 million. We talking about family, we talking about money, we talking about ghost stories. What are we talking about right now? We talking about Survivor. Everybody wants to do this. I've always wanted to do this. We're just happy to be here. And that's it. I feel like some people missed out on that during our season, basically shutting that voice off and remembering your parents did this for you and them before them. So what can you do for yourself? And a lot of people talked about their stories and how their parents came, to America to make a life for them. And all we're trying to do is make our lives and make our parents proud. Like, that hits different. You learn a lot of things about people. You've been there.
I've been there. Well, you know what? My favorite moment from season 48, not anything that has to do with, Joe, your Kyle's, your Camilla's, but is you comforting Cedric after that challenge, which is, as somebody who struggled in the challenges, a la Cedric, that moment hits especially different for people who've been in it, right? Who have lived it. Tell me about that from your perspective, that moment, and how did you get that gear? Because, you're saying whatever you're saying in the moment, but it was exactly what Cedric needed to hear at the time. So tell me about that for you.
For me, we're watching. We know this is hard. We're hungry. We're starving. We know Vula's already had a hard time. When you're on the bottom, when you've been losing left and right, and some of the times that you lost is because of you, that actually hits a little different. Cedric is an exceptional, extraordinary man. Outside of the game, he's a doctor. He does everything. He's a man that makes it happen. So to come from a place where you're great and to come to a place where you're challenged and you haven't been challenged like this in so long, you're going to get hard on yourself. Climbing up that wall. You trying to fight for yourself. You see him. He's struggling. He's trying. The mud isn't making it better. The sun isn't making it better. People, you see, even though people are saying, good job, you got this, in their hearts, they're saying, if you don't hurry the fuck up, you're next. So that being said.
Sorry. I lived that. I was there.
No one wants to be the weak link. I know it because a couple of times, like I said, I went through it with the swimming thing. Of course, people say you can't swim. It's not that I can't swim, but it's if I'm doing this and I'm struggling right now in this water and that means that I'm going to mess up my team up and we're going to be on the bottom, that's selfish of me to put myself out there when I know somebody can do it better. That's just being a team player. So right now, Cedric needed somebody to say, come here, man. Forget it. It's done. You did it. Because if he didn't do it, that would have been different. If Cedric would have just gave up, then all right. But he didn't give up. And that speaks volume. To not give up.
For sure.
So on national TV, you know how many people just quit? We've seen people quit on Survivor for the most silliest things. So to quit because you can't, mind over matter, that would have haunted him. I know everybody has a little Survivor haunt, that would have haunted him. But he knows he willpower, and he knows he has a family watching, his sons is watching, his daughter's watching, I can do this. And I wanted to tell him, like, listen, man, you can do this, because I wanted somebody to say, you can do this. To me, everybody wants somebody to say you can do this. Everybody wants to be seen. No one wants to cry for fun.
Yeah.
No one wants to cry for fun. And sometimes you need to cry because you hold a lot in. And I feel like on Survivor, if you can't yell, all you can do is cry. You don't want to look like the crazy person yelling in Fiji. But, which ain't nothing's wrong with it. But the point is, he needed somebody, and I know how it feels to need somebody in a place where you feel so much clicks and so much people who just seem like they're getting along, and you don't want to seem like the person that's the weak link. No one's the weak link. This is just not your challenge, and that's fine. But we got this, and you know what? That's all I wanted him to know. And you know, if I keep talking about, I get a little emotional, I'll start crying. Yeah, but Cedric's my guy, and I love him, and everybody needs somebody, and I'll always be that somebody if somebody needs somebody. That's it.
So tell me, you know, put yourself in the position.
I forgot about my girl Emily. They're my girl right there.
Tell me the people star that you want to see do great on Survivor.
All right. So for sure, if I have to go ahead, we got to go ahead. Jenna for sure. Jenna for sure, because I know how, once again, it's been a minute. You know, it's been a couple years, and coming back and doing it all over again, it's a little challenging sometimes because the games are the same but different. Mm-hmm. The games are different and different. So definitely, Jenna. We already know Big Sarie. She good, man. She just came from AU. This ain't nothing. Okay, who else? All right. Oh man. Oh, Angelina. That's my girl, but she'll be alright. You know, I really feel like it's a good group of people, though. Christian for sure, because once again, similar to the Cedric thing, if he ain't been in the gym, these challenges nowadays are getting a little dangerous. And for the record, just to go back to that, there's nothing at the bottom but grass. I don't know if everybody knows this. So if you fall, it's gonna hurt. So you know what I'm saying? It's every man for themselves. So with that being said, it's either up or down. And now, me personally, I don't like to fall, so I prefer going up. But anyway, so okay, Christian for sure, because like I said, 28 feet of water. All right. 10 plus feet of grass and a thin piece of wood. Yeah, man. Don't fall. All right. Who else? Emily, that's my girl. Emily, she gonna be good. But I think she kind of struggled just a little bit because of the environment. Yeah. So now that she's done it, I just hope that she's prepared mentally.
Me too. That is a concern of mine. So I'm hoping that she comes in and doesn't. You know, there's some people like you, and you said it. You know, you want to come in and be different a second time.
Are you still here? We locked in?
Yes, we're locked in. We're locked in. We're good. I hope that she has a similar situation. So I think we're good.
Yeah. So you know, struggles of a parent, man. My son's birthday tomorrow. They're trying to figure out how to take him to the museum. I'm like, listen, my wife's working, I'm working. We doing podcasts, man. Let's go. All right.
We are great. So tell me, we were just talking about Emily, but tell me another person that you're excited for, and then we'll let people know where to follow you.
All right. So for sure, another person that I'm excited for. You know, I gotta say it to the legend, the guy that it is. You know what I'm saying? It's Mike Bloom. You know, we know why Mike's here. Mike's here to get another season of White Lotus, and they're going to give it to him, you know. So I'm actually excited to see him because, you know, we know he made it pretty far. You know, Final 3 is, you know, a lot to go through. But at the same time, this is a new game. It's a new era.
It's a new era. I think you, Stars, said Mike Bloom instead of Mike White, which is so funny that Mike Bloom, the reporter, should go in the White Lotus.
You're right. We just finished. All right, let me say that again. All right, Mike White. Mike White. We was just talking to Mike Bloom. That's my guy. Hey, shout out Mike Bloom, man. Okay, yeah, Mike White. He's gonna struggle a little bit only because it's a new era, it's a new time. You know, there's a whole lot of fresh folks out here, fresh faces. You know, folks that you know don't really know you, but know your game. And know how you're coming, you know. So we'll see how it goes. But I know this season's gonna be crazy. I know Tiffany D and all the other folks gonna do their thing. So I'm glad and I'm excited to watch it. And I appreciate you. And I can't wait to watch with you. And one day we'll see. We'll set it all up. Do a little something, make it shake.
I've had so much fun. This is so much fun for me. Tell people who want to follow you where they can follow you and what you got coming up.
Oh, yeah. So for sure, most definitely, you know, I'm on IG. So all you got to do is type in Star Toomey, StarToomey. It's going to pop up. If you follow me on Twitter X, Star Toomey, 2 Y's at the end, because somebody stole my first one for some reason. Whoever you are, Star Toomey, I'll find you. And, you know, I'm hopping on TikTok. Some good things coming up, you know. We representing. I'm doing this here. I'm a movie connoisseur, TV connoisseur. So we got the YouTubes coming. Now, I'm not going to take a jock on the podcast, you know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely going to hop on for any podcast and anybody that loves Survivor Talk. definitely down for that. And if you don't know where I'm representing for my clothing line, so you can definitely check that out on my Instagram under my star Toomey. It's all connected. This represents all the women, men, and anyone, young youth who's are homeless, who's ever been molested, raped, or anything like that. So it's deeper than the cause. So you can definitely check it out. We're going to do a video and, go deeper into that. But most importantly, we're going to be talking Nothing Survivor as well. So just stay tuned because Survivor AU is coming up, and that's what we're going to do. And don't forget to keep watching my guy Brandon, because we're going to be making it happen and making it shake. So shout out to you, and I hope everybody keep loving, and keep surviving. That's what's up.
This star, we've been doing this for the last month, but this is the last interview. You're the last one. It's you. So give us a send off. I'm gonna let you kick it. You do the final kickoff. What do you want to leave the people with?
Hey man, we're gonna leave the people with this, man. Stay blessed, stay joyful, and remember, it's all about you. It's all about you, and it's all about Survivor too, okay? Just remember to be the best person that you can be and pay it forward. And shout out to you once again, Brandon, and keep doing your thing, man. And don't you stop.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the final episode of Survivor 50 Files. I've got some stuff to say, just me, so stay tuned for that. It'll be right here. Thank you, everybody, and for the final time, we'll chat soon. Take care. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by friends. I'm kidding. It's not a man to add. I'm here to say goodbye. We did it. We're done. It's been what? 1 million months? It's been so many months that we've been doing this, it feels like, but it's over. 49 puts us in a weird spot. We can't really talk to 49 people, obviously, before the season starts. So maybe in the week after Survivor 49 ends, we run it back and we do one more there. But as of now, the Survivor 50 Files is done. I want to thank you, though. That's why we're here, is I want to just give you my sincere thanks for everything. Listening, telling me what you liked, telling me what I can work on. Really, like it means the world to me to have been able to do this with this audience. I've been so, like, it feels like the Truman Show. I feel like everybody's like faking and telling me that they like this. And it's like everybody like was in a big group chat that I'm not in to plan to tell me that. But I am so beyond thrilled. And not to like get all sad boy on everybody, but I've had an immensely difficult time watching Survivor post me being on Survivor, right? Me watching, Vanuatu or Micronesia or 41, those 3 seasons that have great names. I am only thinking about what it would be like for me on Survivor. I'm still recording. This feels good. If you're listening via audio, I just dropped the microphone. I always wondered what it would be like for me to be on Survivor, right? So then getting on, not having the ideal experience, it was immensely difficult for me to just watch a couple episodes of Palau as I was working in the background, right? But this project gave me that back. I was watching, before I talked to Tina, watching episodes of Australian Outback. I watched the first couple episodes of Heroes vs. Villains, which is like, I love Survivor. I immensely love Survivor. It's my favorite thing in the world. And going on it, doing everything just does change your relationship with it. But I feel like I have it back. I have it back in the same way that I had it before I went. And that's something that I didn't think I was going to get. So I really am thankful for that. Tyson Apostle, who you may know from Marriage Boot Camp Season 2 on the Oxygen Network, has a quote that I think he said to Boston Rob in a podcast, which was, if you don't win Survivor, you have to find a way to make your million, right? Although I'm not making, Manta is paying me 6 figures to do the ads. But other than that, I'm not making the $1 million. But you have to kind of find your win in the Survivor community. And being able to talk to all of you about my favorite thing with people that literally, like, I love, like people that I watched. And these are like Michael Jordan. These are the 92 Bulls, 96 Bulls, whatever year the Bulls were good in the 90s. These are my people. So to be anyway a part of this, thank God Rob went on the Traders. I hope he does every other show. There's a Fear Factor reboot I heard. I don't know, the 1% Club, whatever he wants to do next, I'm here. I've had so much fun. Thank you for indulging me. And hopefully we see each other again soon. I don't know what it is, but I remember, Ryan Seacrest at the end of the Fox original run of American Idol, he was like, goodbye for now. And then American Idol got rebooted on ABC like a year later. So I don't know what this looks like, but goodbye for now. Thank you to our friends at Manta Sleep for sponsoring this episode of the Survivor 50 Files. You've made it to the end of the podcast. You've been here long enough. Let me show you my sleep mask, the one that I use, and I use every night. Here it is. I've worn this every night for the past couple years, minus the 4 nights that I spent on Survivor, the television show. And it sucks to get voted out of Survivor, but a little bit better when you're going back home to this. This is 100% light blackout for deeper sleep. You put this on, can't see anything. When I watched the first 2 episodes of Survivor 45, I put this guy on. I don't have to relive it, which is great. It's adjustable for a personalized fit. You can see I have quite a big head. I don't want to show you the details of, I've kind of worn out the elastic, but it's durable. This guy hasn't broke. I've worn it every night for the past couple of years, and it's zero pressure on your eyelids or eyelashes. I've converted so many people to getting this sleep mask when I wasn't doing this, and I want to convert you. Use promo code 50files. That's 50 FILES on the Manta Sleep website to get 10% off your order. That's 50files, 50 FILES. We'll see you soon.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.